There it is. The thing stopped spinning, so it means we're live. Hope you guys are out there. I apologize for my look. It is still 99 degrees at 9 p.m. in the CTX. It is hot. It is probably a little more than 99 degrees here in the office. I know it was 101 inside the cottage today. And it is also 2 hours past my bedtime. My eyes are bloodshot because I'm tired and I've been dealing with 108-degree temperatures all day. So if you're out there, come on in. Let's sit down and talk. Hello, Canyon. Hello, blue skies of Montana. Type into the comment section where you are, all that kind of stuff. Say hi, hit the like button. Hey, everybody, my name is Michael Bunker. This is the Bunker Nation Show. I'm going to be your host for the evening. In the midst of a heat wave, the likes of which we really haven't seen. We've had long heat waves and we've had bad heat waves. We've had heat waves that started in May. This year we started getting 100 degrees in May, but then it kind of cooled off and we were low 90s for a month and a half. And then now we are like 5 days into 104 plus, 108 yesterday, 108 today. And it's supposed to be, I think, 104 tomorrow. But so I figured we'd talk about that. I know that the last show I did, I was ranting quite a bit. People seemed to like it. And people are like, what are you going to rant about next? And I don't know that I'm going to rant. I might. I have things that irritate me. But hello, Clancy. I basically have been talking on social media about the heat. This is a survival show, a preparedness show, an off-grid show, a how to think show, all kinds of things. And so I thought we'd talk a little bit about managing or the mental game of dealing with heat. You never know, because I might end up going on a rant because there's some other things that irritate me. Hello, Ireland. Anyways, y'all come on in. Let's all hang out right in the comment section where you are. Yeah, root cellar and a cot is a good idea. I don't do that as much as I probably ought to. It's definitely cooler down there, about 30 degrees cooler down there. There's not a whole lot of air movement, so I do have to use my fan when I'm down there. And so that's a trade-off. One thing I'm going to talk about in this show today is everything's a trade-off, and you have to make decisions. You have to live deliberately. So I've got the fan going right now. I didn't have it earlier because I didn't want to use up the fan battery. If I used it up today, then I used it up in the root cellar, then I wouldn't have it right now, and I wouldn't have it sleeping tonight. So you have to make decisions based on how much power you have. I live off grid, everybody. Grid, everyone, in case you didn't know. When I say it's 108 degrees, I'm not talking about it's 108 degrees outside while I'm inside at 72 degrees. It's 108 degrees while I'm inside at 101 degrees. It may be 104 in the shade. So you try to catch a breeze. But we're going to talk about all that. I just want to make sure everybody knows that we're not talking about the same thing, because that's one of my pet peeves. And so today, it actually was fairly cool when I got up. 74, 75 degrees at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this morning. I actually slept in. I usually get up at 3 or 3:30. I did not get up at 3 or 3:30 because I needed to rest, and I was completely wiped out. One thing about dealing with this heat and dealing with it, the more days you deal with it, is it absolutely wipes you out. Even if you don't seem like you do that much, you're going to be dehydrated. You're going to be worn out. And sleeping when it's 100 degrees is not like sleeping. Some of you have done it. You fell asleep on the couch, maybe in the sun or out on the front porch, and it was 90 degrees, and you have trouble waking up, but you don't really sleep. So I decided to go ahead and sleep in. About 7 o'clock, it was 74, 75 degrees, but it was kind of overcast until around 10 o'clock. So it didn't just get, that early morning burn that we get sometimes. So I was able to get a lot of things done. Rule number 1, these are no particular order. When you have to live out in it. And by the way, some of you might be experiencing this soon. Maybe not this summer, but maybe next summer. The way things are going in the world, if you are relying on the grid power system or a lot of other things, they may not be there for you based on what's happening in the world. We don't know. So maybe I plant some seeds of some advice in you, and then you understand maybe if you get into that situation, you'll be able to survive. So, and this is a survival situation. Things die over 98 degrees if things are not handled properly. All right, so I got up in the morning, got a bunch of chores done, which means I want to get all of the animals fed and watered. Water is the primary thing. You want to make sure they have not just plenty of water, but depending on the animal, you may need to provide water for them to wallow in, water for them to lay in. What I do about twice during the day when it's over 102 degrees is I take buckets of water down and throw them on the pigs. Hello, Danielle. Good to see you. Hello, Brett and Dana in Missouri. So this morning, rule number one is you want to get your animals, get everything taken care of, but you want to get anything that you need to get done. If you're in a survival situation and you're out in the bush or you're out in the woods or you're somewhere and it's extreme heat or in the desert, you want to have a place where you can go and spend the day during the heat of the day, but you have to get things done before that. You cannot let yourself get in a situation where it's 108 degrees and you have to get up and go do a bunch of stuff or all your animals are going to die. So that's important. Yeah, get all your chores done, get everything done. You have to stay hydrated. This is probably the most important thing. And it's the thing I get people nodding their head at me, but they don't even still know what they're talking about. If you feel thirsty, you have waited too long to drink water. And you really, really probably don't have a grasp on what dehydration does to you and causes your body to do. First of all, it causes your body to work tremendously hard to move blood, which increases the heat, which increases the likelihood that you're going to get heat stroke or you're going to have some other health-related issues. So you have to stay hydrated. And most people drink water until they don't feel thirsty anymore, and then they think I'm okay. And I even see experts out there saying, only drink water if you're thirsty. That is bad advice. You need to stay hydrated, which means you need to be drinking enough that the water is passing through you. If the temperature is 108 and you are not peeing regularly, you are dehydrated and you are in a dangerous situation. You have got to have so much water in your system that it is passing through you. If you're urinating and it's 108 degrees, then you are probably hydrated enough. Do not let yourself get thirsty. Continue to drink water. I walked down here just now. I had to go open up all the windows. We'll get into the operating the windows and the stuff in the house. But I got down here at 8:45 and I started this show at 9, and I had 2 bottles of water when I got down here, and this one has maybe an ounce or 2 left. And I'm going to drink these 32 ounces during this program. Yes, if your urine is yellow, you're dehydrated. Almost all of you, and I saw it, some of you might have seen it on Facebook. Somebody posted on Twitter. It's one of those things people do. They like to ask questions so that then they can come across looking like an expert. And this guy, he was a blue check. He said, do you wake up groggy and tired, or what do you do to get productive in the morning? And I said, if you wake up groggy and tired, it's because you're dehydrated. When you wake up and all that's going through your mind is you can't get up, you can't get yourself up, you can't get moving, it's because you're dehydrated. If you could drink 16 ounces of water pretty quickly, just give it 30 seconds and you're going to feel a whole lot better and ready to get up and that sort of thing. And believe me, I'm an expert at getting up. I get up at 3:30 in the morning just about every morning. And ask my wife, even when I don't have to get up, I get up at 3 or 3. Sometimes I go back to sleep. So this morning I woke up at 3 o'clock because that's my wake up time. And then I went back to sleep and woke up at 7. All right. So keep yourself hydrated. That's the most important. That's the mainest thing. Stay out of the heat. The third thing that applies and needs to be heeded by Americans and Westerners who are remarkably stupid when it comes to dealing with the heat is you don't be naked. You don't be naked, which means you don't walk around without your shirt on or walk around with your stupid cargo shorts. Not if you're in a survival situation. You go to the hottest places in the world or just watch videos of the hottest places in the world. Watch Iraq, Afghanistan. Watch the Mojave Desert. The people that live there are covered from head to toe. And stupid people go, well, I feel cooler when I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. You don't. It's a trick. You feel like that because your mind is playing tricks on you. But what happens is your sweat dries up and you stop sweating. The reason that you need to sweat and you need to be hydrated, well, you need to be hydrated so that you'll continue to sweat, because that's the way that your body, it isn't about what your mind thinks. It isn't about how you feel. It's about whether or not your body is operating properly. Your car has a radiator and has water running through it. And your car doesn't sit there and go, I feel okay. Just turn the water off. Turn the radiator off. I just feel okay. Because it's too late. You can't be walking around naked. I am wearing a full, this is actually a UV shirt that blocks the UV rays. And then I did like my wife does. My wife does something that's smarter than me, and she keeps her shirt drenched and she puts it in the cool cistern water, which is like 55 degrees. And she sleeps in that and all that kind of stuff. I generally don't do that just because I sweat enough that everything that I wear is going to be wet anyway. But today I did. I got me a nice bucket of cool water and I put that in there. I put my head covering gator thing in there. Got my beard wet, got my hair wet, and then went and laid in the hammock. And then when everything, in like 5 minutes later, when everything was dry again, I just pulled it off, put it back in the water, put it back on. So during the time when you are not working, you should not be working, and you should not be out in the direct sun. You should be clothed. You want to make sure that you're doing things that cool you. Watch the animals. Just watch them. If you have animals, watch them when it's hot. The chickens will dig little indentations in the ground. They will find the loosest dirt possible, and they will settle themselves down there, and they will have their wings away from their body because they want the heat to escape. They'll actually open up their feathers. They'll be fluffed out so that the feathers aren't trapping the heat, and then they'll have their wings out like this to get in a low depression in the ground. Dog will do the same thing. Rascal today, he likes to get underneath the hammock. He scratches under there till he's about an inch down, and then he kind of burrows in. Covering up cools you off. Naked is evaporative cooling, and yep, heading for a heat stroke. You're correct. Also, right, in the USMC, I spent a lot of desert time. Mojave, Sardinia, Tunisia, Oman, always had sleeves rolled down and fully covered. 115 during the day and down as far as 38 at night. Oh, Lord have mercy. Thank you for your service. And yes, you are correct. Americans, for some reason, because they are ensconced in the 72-degree myth, that they must be in a 72-degree 4/7, think that it's perfect. You know, if you're hot, strip down, walk around with nothing on, walk around with your cargo shorts and your flip flops and your tank top. That works when you're walking from your 72-degree house and you're going out to your shed and then you're coming back in, or you're going to jump in the pool, or you're walking from your 72-degree house to get into your 72-degree car and go to your 72-degree job. You can wear the uniform of the day for a modern American, which is the ethic of, according to Einstein, the ethic of swine, which is that comfort at every expense. Comfort is the number one thing, but you're not more comfortable. That's a trick. You need to be wearing clothes. My dogs do the same thing, holes in the yard that they get into the dirt. That's right. They're not dumb. I walked up there just now. I just said it. I walked up there at about 8:30. I wanted to make sure all the windows were open in the house because it had been closed all day. And now that it's cooler outside than inside, you want that air moving in and out. And our cat, which is 15 years old, was laying on the lid of the cistern, flat out, just stretched out, because that lid is cool. Because that water down in there is about 55 degrees, and the air in there is cooler than the air outside, and that the concrete lid gets really, really cool. So you watch the animals; they figure stuff out. And so I will do that, get into the hammock. On occasion, I will go down in the root cellar. It's not that comfortable down in the root cellar if you don't have a fan. It's cooler, but it's also very humid. And the air is very stifling. And so I just don't prefer that unless if I have 3 or 4 batteries and I'm not going to worry about running out batteries during the day, I prefer to have a fan going at night. I'm actually gambling right now that this battery is going to make it through the night because I'm using it right now because it's hot as blazes in here. Hey, everybody. Hello, Ravonda. Hello, Pat in Montana. Hello, Matthew. I want to tell you guys, I hope everybody's safe out there. There's a lot going on with COVID. I'm not even supposed to say that, but I just said it. And there's a lot going on in the world, and there's some ugly stuff happening. And apparently the Twitter people have lost their minds. Hello, Don. Skin cancer from the sun is a real deal, especially for lighter complected people. Yeah, that's right. And so, cover yourself up during the day, but a lot of stuff going on out there in the world. Some people have lost their mind. Logic and reason have been lost to the world. We are watching the devolution of human thinking, especially in Western civilization. My book is out and able to be read right now, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. All right. So, what about the cottage? Normally, what you want to do is close up the windows and close up the doors and close up the house about when the temperature is at the coolest part in the morning. Depending on how your house is built, most modern American houses are not built well, and they are not built for natural air movement. They're built for brute force cooling and heating by a heat pump or some form of forced air. If you go into an old city, an old town, downtown, the buildings you'll see had a lot of windows, and most of them on the lower levels now are bricked in. Where they're not bricked in, they have put in heavy, heavy, heavy thermal pane glass, and those buildings are now not open to breezes or to be cooled off from outside air. Most of them are brute force cooled and heated. And you will find that's why when it gets above 90, 95 in Chicago, they're carrying bodies out and stacking them like cordwood. Old people dying left and right because there is no air circulation. What you want to do is you want to close up your house during the coldest part of the morning, the coolest part of the morning. Here, that was about 74, 75 degrees. If you have upper level windows, you can leave those cracked or open. The way heat works, if you have a well-insulated building, is heat stacks. So it beats on the roof and on the sides of the walls, and that heat rises, as you know. And the heat goes to the highest point, and the next heat comes in and stacks under it, and the next heat stacks under that. And those temperatures are moving about gradations. And so in a building that's very well insulated, like my office or our cottage, your actual temperature tracks about 6 hours after the exterior temperature. So there's 104 degrees at 3 p.m. and you left the thing closed, your house will eventually reach whatever its maximum temperature is about 6 hours later. You can take advantage of this delay by closing up the house when it's at its coolest. If you have upper windows or vents, you let the warm air out. So as it stacks, it goes out, right? And your cooler air naturally wants to sit on the floor or on the ground, and you'll have cooler air down where you are. Even that cooler air will slowly begin to climb in temperature throughout the day. If you can plan it right and you built right, hopefully right around the time when it cools off outside, maybe around 8:30 around here, you can throw open the windows, you can suck in that cool air, pull out the hot air out of the top, and then you can sleep through the night. So this is something you might want to remember when you're building a house, or if you've got a house in town and you sealed all those windows, maybe screwed them shut. And then the power goes out next summer after the riots and after the Civil War, and you're trying to live off of what you can grow in your backyard because you were smart and you got you some garden seed and you got some other survival stuff. But it's hot as the blazes and it's 106 degrees, and you're telling everybody, I'll just die without air conditioning, even though you come from a long, long genetic line of people that survived all sorts of temperatures without air conditioning. So anyways, you'll be able to, remember, harken back to this, and you'll realize you need to manage the heat. You manage it, and the best place to manage it is in your mind. Hello, Pat. You want to be strong mentally. If you lose it mentally, then you're going to lose it. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to stop drinking water. You're going to go put on your shorts. You're going to sit there and fret. You're going to get your heart rate up because your blood's thicker. You're going to start doing stuff during the day because you're panicking. You're going to get a heat stroke and you're going to die. You're going to be one of the bodies they're stacking up like cordwood because you didn't think. It is not the heat that kills people. Heat is merely the triggering mechanism. Not thinking kills people. People die because they either are incapable of helping themselves. Perhaps if you're locked in a prison, you can't affect your surroundings or affect right behavior. You're probably not responsible. But other than that, if you're a senior citizen and you're locked in a 13th floor apartment in Chicago and nobody cares about you because of the culture that we live in, where everybody lives for themselves and shuffle their parents off the earth as soon as they can, then you're not responsible. But everybody else is responsible for whether you think and whether you do things to help yourself and your family and your animals and all that. You can learn a lot by watching cultures that have to live in it, what we call kind of arrogantly third world cultures, but people who have had to live in the temperature. And I put in my Facebook today, extremes of temperature at some level are good for you. Not only your mental makeup, your survival, but they're good for you because your body thrives under limited stress. You cannot build muscle without offering resistance and putting your body under stress. You cannot lose fat. You cannot become fit without utilizing resistance and discomfort and those sorts of things. Your body has to undergo not emotional stress. I'm not talking about the stress that you can't pay your bills or the stress that your spouse isn't on your side or whatever stress you're suffering from. People suffer from stress and it's real. I'm talking about physical stress. Physical stress is good for you. And if you could handle it mentally strong, where you're actually thinking about the benefits, you actually enumerate the benefits in your mind as you go through it. People check on me throughout the day because they're worried about me. It's often like I'm in a survival raft that has a shade cover. And it's not a great situation. I'm in a survival raft. Apparently the ship went down. Or in this metaphor, the ship went down. You're in the water getting gnawed on by a shark. And you're looking over at me going, oh, I feel bad. I feel bad about that guy in that protected raft. I'm in the protected. I appreciate and I love the fact that you're worried about me, that you care about me, that you pay attention. I put on my Facebook and on video today, I'm putting together a video of this 4 or 5 days. I don't post these things because I want people's sympathy. I appreciate your empathy. I appreciate you identifying with me and learning from it. But I don't post things because I want your sympathy, because I haven't thought about getting a gym. People are like, they actually think I'm like sitting on like a throne of money, but then I haven't figured this stuff out. Most of my emails and private messages are like, hey, have you thought about getting a generator? Hey, have you thought about, building an underground house? No, it never occurred to me. It never occurred to me that there are actually ways to stay cool. I was sitting out here for 15 years, had no clue you could actually have an air conditioner. And I appreciate people. I'm not griping at them. I'm having some fun. But I get a lot of people are like, here's how to make a electrolyte drink. All right, since your weight loss, how different is your experience of heat now versus before? My experience in the heat is 100% better. My body fat, pardon me, now I have not had it measured. Most people are radically wrong about their body fat. Their body fat is way, way higher than they think it is. I reckon my body fat before my body transformation was 28 to 35%, minimum of 28. Definitely probably closer to 35 and maybe even higher. And I did not handle, mentally, I handled summer fine, and I learned all the tricks and I knew how to stay cooler. But I realized now that I was completely unhealthy and that it was very, very, very difficult to move around that much weight, especially that much body fat. Just think about it. When I weighed 200, I don't have a calculator here. Maybe I can pull one up. If I can get my mouse to work, I weighed 278 pounds. Let's say I was 30% body fat, which I may have been more. That means I was carrying around 83.4 pounds of fat. And I may have been, my body fat may have been higher. That was when I was at my peak. My fancy scale tells me I'm running about 31% body fat. Way better than the 38% it was. Yes. That's the thing. And what at that level, your scale's probably pretty close to right. When you actually get below 15%, your scale's probably radically wrong. And you're probably not as thin as you think you are. Most people who are ripped, that have the six-pack abs and got all of that, are probably still 12 to 15% body fat. I think at my lowest, at 177 pounds, I was probably around 12%, but somebody who knows what they're doing, who could have measured it. And most of the things like DEXA scans and all that are not accurate. So I was probably around 12 to 15%. I'm probably about 15% right now. And yeah, it really, really helps. I still sweat a lot, which is good, which means my system is working. But and I still get prickly heat, or whatever they call a heat rash. Sometimes if my back is in contact with a chair, or if I'm leaning back against something, I get the prickly heat in my back. But nothing like what it was when I was 35, 38% body fat. I think I'll get the opposite effect when it's winter. We'll find out. A lot of things change when your body fat gets low. The biggest thing, and something I'm going to discuss at some point at length, is there's a weird psychological effect, because it's like ghost. It's an equivalent to ghost pain, but you just see how I just did that right there, or scratch my neck. When I do that, it doesn't feel like my body. Then my hand feels like my hand, but what I'm touching does not feel like my body. My neck is not where it should be. I can feel veins. I can feel this hollow here. You think that sounds weird, but I'm 53 years old and I've had this body for 3 months. How much water should most adults drink per day on average? That's really, really difficult to say. Most people say a gallon, and I think a gallon's a good, if you had to say, but see, my wife is 100, and I'm not going to give away too much. I'm going to say 160 pounds, 170 pounds, 180 pounds smaller than me. Her water intake clearly is not going to be anywhere near what mine is. On an average day, when it's an average temperature and it's not in the middle of a heat wave, I try to drink a gallon of water a day, but that's a lot of water. And that would be a lot of water for a 105, 110-pound woman to drink. Today, I have already drank 2 gallons of water. I have no doubt in my mind I have. In fact, I'm starting on my second 16-ouncer, and we've been on this episode for 30 minutes. I'm drinking less because I'm talking a lot. After I get done with the show, I will really, really pound a lot of water. Some of it will have salt in it. I woke up this morning tremendously dehydrated. I had a huge headache. I could feel, I know dehydration now that I didn't know it before. When I was ice fishing back when I first came home and was still jarhead lean, my body was pretty efficient at keeping me warm. The fatter I got, the less that was true. Well, that's an interesting, I'm going to find out. I am planning on gaining weight between now and winter, hopefully mostly muscle, but we'll find out how it feels for me. I already don't like the cold. And already this past March, April, when I was already down 30, 40 pounds, I was not liking the cold. I don't know what it would be like. All right, so we've dealt with how to beat the heat survival situation, how to manage the heat in your house and all of that. Make sure that you not only have access to water, but that you have the access to purification of water, and that you have access to purify as much water as you're going to need during the hottest part of the day without going to get it or having to actually purify it during the day. I missed a couple up here. All right. So let me tell you a story. Back when I was younger and I was doing a lot of this survival stuff out in the bush, not on the farm, we would pack up and we would go do extreme cold weather survival camping, extreme hot weather survival camping. And one of the most miserable ones I ever did, and they were all miserable, was we went up to Paladero Canyon. The temperature at the top of the canyon that day, anywhere out there in West Texas, was 104 degrees. Down in the bottom of the canyon, it was somewhere around 117, from what I remember. And we hiked in knowing we were going to be dealing with hot weather. We got tremendously hot and overheated, and we found a nice place to rest and camp in the lee of a cliff. I'm saying lee. I don't mean lee in the wind. I mean we were in the shade of the cliff. And we set up camp, spent a lot of energy setting up camp, assuming that our water supply would be at the bottom of the hill where hopefully the creek was running. When we got down there wasn't any water. So we began walking. We took our water containers, tied on ropes around our necks with our pure water pump filter. And now we're walking 117-degree heat. We didn't find water for half a mile. We drank some water, got in the shade, pumped our pure water filter pump until we got our containers full, started walking back, but we had to drink water while we were walking back to not die. It sounds stupid, and it was stupid, but what do? Do you just stop? We clearly needed to move our camp, but we couldn't do it in the middle of the day. So we got back to camp with very, very little water and still 3 or 4 hours to go. So we just suffered. We suffered it. We did not. And here's another thing. You don't want to expend energy. So we were covered in flies and we didn't even want to do that. We didn't want to burn calories doing that. So we pulled our hats down over our heads and covered ourselves up, and we just suffered for the 3 to 4 hours till it got cool enough that we could pack up our camp and move it to where the water was. We ought not to have stopped and set up camp until we knew where the water was, until we had pumped enough water that would get us through that hot 4 or 5 hours without the distress. We didn't get heat stroke. We didn't die, but we tried. All right, y'all. We are 30 something. My eyes are completely bloodshot and I can't see very well. We are 35 minutes into that. It's probably below 100 in here now. I'm going to pull up the temperature here. I try to not do Wonderground because they're stupid and they think I'm in Anna, Texas instead of Santa Ana, Texas, which are two different places. It is now 95 degrees here, according to the prognosticators on the computer. Probably about that inside this room right now with no breeze. All right. Good night, Matthew. If you've got questions or comments, I got a few more minutes. You can type them in. I'm going to drink some water while you think. Type in whatever you want to talk about. I hope you found this helpful. And if it's not applicable because you live in Ireland and it's only 70 degrees year round, at least you learned something cultural. This is what it's like in the CTX in the summer. This has probably been the hottest, maybe 2-day stretch that I can remember. All right. Definitely drink a lot of water. Keep a lot of purified water. Try not to drink extremely cold water. Why? There are times it's good to drink extremely cold. If you're doing my bunk fit and you're trying to lose weight and it's not 108 degrees, it's normal temperatures, drink really, really cold water because your body has to process it and you burn calories processing cold water. You can burn a lot. You can burn more calories processing water than a lot of exercises people do. You can burn a couple hundred calories processing cold water through your body. Like just an extra liter of cold water. What does that mean? When it's hot and it's 108 degrees and your body has to deal with extremely cold water, you can overheat. Sounds crazy, but it's true. One of the things you do if you have cold locked in something like this can is a cold beer or it's cold sparkling water. You don't drink it. What you do is you apply it to the parts of your body that have blood that's the closest to the surface. So you have veins running right here, up under here, underneath your knee, any place where you're vascular on the surface, and that blood is going up to your brain. You can put that really, really cold on there and it will cool you off. You don't want to drink it. You can, I guess, if you're smart enough, if you play it smart. But for years, what I would do is we would get ice in the morning in our ice box, and I would put some cans of cold beer in there. And I didn't drink them. But what I would do is at night, I would just keep one. I would put a cold beer right in the center of my chest and then put my wrist, both wrists, like that. When it started to warm up a little, I would turn it. I would move it to there. I would move it to there. I would move it to here. And just keep doing it till I fell asleep. You finally get cool enough, and it's radically cool. Like I said, what my wife likes to do is to take her shirt and dump it in cool water and put it on and sleep in that. I figure I'm going to sweat enough. I may do it tonight. We'll see. We'll see what the temperature's like. All right, I'm not seeing any questions coming in. I appreciate you guys. We've only got 6 likes that I can see. Maybe you can see more. If you're on Facebook, your likes are appreciated, but they don't count. What I need you to do, if you can, is run over to YouTube, traverse your way over to YouTube, and hit the like button over there. If you're one of the future people are the people that watch this later on. They didn't watch it live. You're one of the future people. Please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you get notifications when I go live. You never know what time it's going to be, but you can get wisdom. Alex Meyer is my good friend. I really like Alex. Lives down in Austin, Texas area. Says, oh, my skinny friend, it was nice stopping in and spending some quality. I'm going to have to get down there so we can hang out, Alex. Have a beer together. All right. Yeah. You see 10 like good. They're delayed coming to me. Good. All right, you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I wanted to tell you I'm going to take a few minutes here of your time. Don't go yet. My book God in the Storm is out. This book is going to get a lot of flack. It is politically incorrect for the day. And it compares some of the things that are going on right now in the world when you turn on your TV with what was going on in 1975 in Cambodia before the Khmer Rouge took over. It's a novel. It's exciting and thrilling, as most I'll say all Michael Bunker books are. Thank you, War Dog Heim, for the super chat. Super chats are appreciated because that's the only way I get to keep doing this. And I certainly appreciate it. What was I talking about? All right, so the book is going to catch a lot of grief. A lot of the woke tards out there who don't like me saying that comparing Antifa with the Khmer Rouge are going to get on there and they're going to give bad reviews to the book, even though they don't read it. What I need you to do is do the opposite. I need you to read the book and then go give a appropriate review to the book. The book is available in the description of this video. You just go down there on YouTube and click on the God in the Storm link. It's available right now on Amazon. You can be reading it tonight on your little Kindle device, or you can order it in paperback. You can go to godinthestorm.com and you can pre-order a signed copy, paperback or hardback. But make sure you order one. Make sure you share it. This is one of those things that's going to take all of us working together. You have to share it with everybody and tell people about it. Alex made it to YouTube and liked. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. All right. So War Dog Heim's waiting for your copy. We're waiting for them too. So we haven't signed them, so they haven't gone out, but we're waiting on them too. Hopefully they'll be soon. But you can get the Kindle version right now. Anybody that wants to go read it tonight, read it on any device. So there's that. Godinthestorm.com, or just go down in the comments section. Order it. Order for your friends. Order for your family. Buy a gift for somebody. Make sure everybody that you know knows about it, especially if you are politically aware. You know what's going on in the world, and you need to see people see the truth, because 2.5 million Cambodians were killed in just about 2.5 years. Very efficiently by communists who took over, a small minority of people who took over and killed the country. All right, y'all, I got to go. Appreciate everybody. God bless you. I love you as always. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow or maybe the next day. You never know. Till then.